Arsenal lose 3-2 to Man United. And this video is going to be just breaking down where I think that result went wrong. And the last couple of weeks as well, we're going to be talking about that because remember, we had 2 draws and 1 loss now. And let's just start with, in isolation, yesterday's game. It was poor. All around it was poor. Individual errors. Players didn't look up for it. They were lacking something. And for me, I'm starting to realize, I mean, I've said this a couple of weeks ago, but I think it's time we talk about Martin Odegaard, the leader in this team. Because yes, he's a great player. Yes, we're not going to discuss what he's capable of on the pitch and off the pitch. He's a model captain, doesn't go out, he's a family man, whatever, all of that. But I'm seeing too much pressure being put on his shoulders. And yes, he should be able to deal with that pressure, but I don't think he's handling it well. This is the 3rd year now we've been in this position. I know we had the Xhaka years as well. He was captain as well at times. But that is what we're missing now. That kind of Xhaka player, the real mouth on the pitch. And I know these days managers like to say, all managers, well, we could have 10 captains on a pitch. The armband doesn't mean anything. It does. It means a massive deal. And I think it's weighing heavy on Martin Odegaard. And there's no qualms in admitting that. And I think he should step back. And I know a lot of people might say, oh, well, Saka's, vice captain. Saka, I don't want Saka as captain. He can do a performance here and there, but I don't think he's at that level yet. And for me, I've never really liked attacking players and trying to give the best player on your team the captaincy. Unless you're a world-class talent, then yeah, because then you lead. You know that player is going to go after the game and win it for you. Whereas they're not quite there yet in their captaincy. And for me, there's nothing against Odegaard in this regard, but I really do think it's Declan Rice's time. You could see the frustration in his eyes in that loss, and he knows what that loss means. I'm not saying Odegaard doesn't, but he's been here for 3 years now in the same position, and we haven't progressed. And I think, say if we have Xhaka right now, even on the bench, you think Xhaka is going to allow some of these performances? No. And I'm not saying Declan is Xhaka, but I feel like we need that person like that, that's more vocal on the pitch. And then you just let Odegaard play football, and then he can get back to his best. You can allow Saka to get back to his best because he's being fed more by Odegaard. For me, Declan Rice needs to be Arsenal's captain. Whether we do it now or the end of the season, I think if we wait till the end of the season, we could lose this title because we're going to have more games like this. We need someone that's wearing the armband, screaming at these players for more, demanding more. And I think in Declan Rice's position, you've got to bite your lip a little bit because, yes, you might have Odegaard. Yeah, come on, guys. Yeah, brilliant. Pick it up, guys. Nah, you got to have this big, strong presence in the locker room. And seeing Vieira and Roy Keane at the weekend just reminded me again, that's what we need, a little bit of bite again. No one's scared of Odegaard as a captain. People are already talking about Rice, okay? In terms of the way he's been playing this season, the way he's been dragging this team through sometimes. The unsung work of carrying the ball box to box, cleaning up. You even seen, yes, a whole team all round yesterday didn't have really good games. Bar, I wouldn't even say they had a good game. Saka and Rice, they played all right because they know what this game means. Whereas the others are completely ghosted. And that's when you look to your captain to ask your players for more. And I don't believe he is. He's not. Or he may be, but they're not reacting to it. And I believe they will react more to Declan Rice. You've seen the frustration on his face last weekend and what was made up because he because it knowed it was a missed opportunity. We come to this weekend and it was still the same thing. Dross at home, our first loss at home to a dusty Man United team that, let's be honest, give them all their dues. It was some individual errors and 2 worldy goals. I mean, worldy goals, yeah. But there was no leader out there for me. And I would even go as far to say this is where people are starting to backtrack on Havertz. They're Arsenal fans. They're backtracking on Havertz. They're backtracking on even Mikel Moreno, because even Moreno's got more of a presence, a captain's mentality, you know, wanting, driving the game on, and yes, getting a goal. But he seems to do this a lot for Arsenal. And you see it a lot in the summertime. You had Arsenal fans really calling for Gyökeres. Yeah, it's all going to change if we get a number 9. It's like, bruv, really? You want Sesko? And that's like, everyone's like, oh, we should have got whatever. We got the man you all wanted. Yeah, I'm not saying I didn't want him. I didn't really care whether it was Sesko or Thingy. I thought it was going to, you know, we were doing okay. We just didn't get it over the line. And yes, if we added a striker that could add a couple more goals, brilliant. That might have won us a couple of more games. But for me, now we have to look at the mentality. And yes, people always say Arsenal mentality and all this. It starts with the captain. It starts with the captain and having enough. We've got enough players now. There's no excuses for that. I just think we need to freshen up now. Arsenal need to freshen up. And I think having Declan Rice in there is very, very key, very key. And I think it really sends a statement out there. Okay, Arsenal are moving like a club. We're not moving behind players anymore, because we've had the whole thing with Aubameyang just sticking an armband on him. Yes, I get that sometimes, because you know he could take a game by the scruff of the neck and bang in a goal or whatever, but it doesn't work when your team needs that someone in a game to lead by example. You got to look around you and think, who is it? And for us, I think it's Declan Rice, big time, or it's Gabriel. For me, if I'm picking, it'd be Declan Rice, Gabriel Magalhaes, and then it would probably Mikel Moreno. But Mikel Moreno doesn't play enough games. He's the best squad player in world football, if you ask me. Gets his manager's information and puts it out on the pitch. He's that good. He does multiple jobs, like, because he's not worried about himself and his own you know, tally of goals, assists, that and the other. He does it for the team, and that's what a leader does. So for me, it's got to be Decker's, but you could also look at Gabriel. But Gabriel, just focus on that back line, because Saliba needed. He was drowning out there yesterday. I don't care what anyone says. I mean, people are saying it, but this is where we're going to get onto the next section in a minute. It was about the spine, which I think that's why we lost the game yesterday. So yeah, well, the individual errors, you know, you could look at Zubimendi, soft. Wasn't enough. Passing side to side, passing backwards, and even the passing backwards. You could tell. This is why I say a lot of teams need to play their own football against Arsenal, because you might win like Man United did. We played well for 20 minutes. We score, and that's when Man United had to come out and play their football. They started to high press and press as a team, and look what happened. Force us into an error, puts Mbeumo through, bang. Game over. But you know what I mean? That was the beginning of the end, because as soon as that happened, the leader wasn't there to go, right, come on, boys. Even before that, but after that, get your foot on top of the ball and knock it around. If you've got to play it around the back, you've got to play it around the back. Keep them settled for a little while, but we didn't. We panicked. There was no leadership out there. No leadership. It was a lapse on Zubimendi. He will definitely learn from this. I've seen him a couple of times now where he's done it. He's been caught in possession. Remember all the way back to the Tottenham game. It was him that was caught in possession. And yes, that was a worldie again, but it's the same thing. Lapse in concentration. Set the man. You've got time and space. Don't try and draw a foul. Set the man. Stop playing yourself into trouble. And hopefully he learns from this now, because that was a big game and we lost. when it happened in the Tottenham game, I mean, we were already 2-3 up at that point. So it's one of those. For me, defensive gaps, you could blame Zubimendi not sitting in front. You could say, Gabriel. But for me, it was Saliba. Saliba was very weak yesterday. There was a lot of these balls. And I've never felt nervous with Saliba on the ball. But I noticed it a couple of times. A couple of wayward passes. And then even when the ball was coming down to him, he was kind of letting it hit him. And luckily, it would roll to another defender or something like that. And even, I think, Man United in the first half, Bruno could have scored an opportunity if he didn't make a last-ditch challenge, which he just left the ball. It's these lapsing concentrations that I don't understand why we're having. And yes, individuals, but then you need your leader to stand up for you and get involved. And I don't think they've got that enough. Come on, boys, come on, keep going. There wasn't that. And massively, we'll talk about the spine now. And massively, it's, for me, the spine yesterday that lost us the game was Saliba, was Zubimendi, was Odegaard, and also probably the biggest cog out of it all was Jesus. Jesus wasn't anything yesterday. It was the many times when we talk about Martinelli and we say, it's like playing with 10 men. Yesterday was like playing with 10 men. He offered nothing to nobody. He wasn't an outlet. You couldn't put the ball through for him because he hasn't got legs anymore. His touch was awful yesterday, so he was not an outlet. That's why when Gyökeres came on, it seemed like he was doing God's work, because he was doing the basics. That's all he was doing, the basics, trying to hold up play. And there was a couple of moments where you think, oh, well, this guy couldn't do this a couple of weeks ago, and he's holding up the play. It's putting Saka in and moving the ball around a bit more, wanting to do something. And I didn't see that fight from Gabriel Jesus. And I have to say, we have to start calling him out, guys. The same way you're not giving Gyökeres any time or he's got to perform. Fair play, that's all right. The same way you didn't give Havertz time. You have to call out one of our highest paid players. I think he's on 230 bags a week. And yet no one's talking about it. No one's asking him to step up. Why? Because he's had 2 ACLs. If you're fit to play for Arsenal and you were accepting that money for the last 3 years, I'm sorry. Accept accountability. And that's what I have to employ Arsenal fans to give him that same energy. Yeah, he scored 2 goals against Inter Milan and brilliant. But when push comes to shove in these tough Premier League games, what we're cussing Gyökeres out for, he can't find the spaces against low blocks. What did my man do yesterday? Nothing. And I think after the halftime, that 5 minutes and then Man United score again, there was a couple of moments where the ball, we were looking for that outlet, getting him in, popping the ball up to him. And you would think he's got this good touch, but all day long, he had a poor touch. And then the last straw for me was the same for the manager. He was caught offside after halftime because he wasn't alert. He wasn't awake. He wasn't up for it. And in the first half, he was the same thing. Offside. He was born offside yesterday, and I keep saying that, but I think he was the weakest point in the squad yesterday. He offered no outlet. And we can push this narrative about Saka not doing enough for his level. I mean, he can only be as good as the players around him. Odegaard did nothing yesterday. Yes, again, that was him. Capie ball over to Saka. Poor ball in the end because it was cleared from Dorgu. Comes to Saka. He beats 2 man, dinks it through the middle to Odegaard. Odegaard, probably a terrible finish, to be fair. It was in the centre of the goal. Luckily, it comes off Martinez's leg. So you can give that a balance, okay? That's fine. They were integral in one of our goals. But as a performance overall, Odegaard was non-existent. And I think it's weighing heavy on him. And I think you do need your captain to turn around to the fans. Like we used to, come on, get up for this, come on. Get the pressure. The pressures are the atmosphere at the Emirates. You could tell it was a bit, are we going to get this one? That's where you need your captain to go. And he just goes hiding. And I'm sick of seeing it now. Something needs to change. And I think the Declan Rice captaincy needs to happen. For me, ASAP. ASAP. I don't care if it upsets Odegaard, and I don't care if it upsets Saka. Love them both. But you guys need to concentrate on playing football. Work on that link-up play. This guy is sat at the back watching the game of football. Not at the back, box to box. And he's watching the football in front of him. You guys are struggling to play football as it is. So put that armband on your arm. No. It weighs too heavy. Declan Rice has already been club captain at West Ham, and I know it's a different level, but I've seen levels from Declan Rice already, and I can see this leadership already. And we have to do what's best for the club, not what's best for these players to upset people. Oh, they're not going to sign a new contract. Well, I'm sorry. Arsenal is bigger than the players. I'm sorry. And I'll even say that about Starboy. And this is me talking like I know them. I don't know what their reaction will be. They're probably like, yeah, cool. I would have said that from the start. I wanted you to make that decision. And I implore Arteta to make this decision happen, because I think we are being heavily affected with mentality. And I don't think Odegaard's got that mentality as a leader in these harder moments, because we've been here before, guys. We've been here before. We don't want to go through it again, and I'm sure we won't, but it needs to happen. Do it now, get a couple wins, and then it's all forgotten. Odegaard's playing the best football. It was a great decision. Yeah, because if it doesn't matter who wears the band, and we've got 11 captains on the pitch, then it doesn't matter. Then give him the armband. It doesn't matter. Let the pressure off of Odegaard and let him play his football. That's it. But yeah, the biggest problem, I've said it already, was Jesus yesterday. And that goes out to all the people screaming for Jesus to start. And I had no problem with the starting lineup. This is not me talking in hindsight. I had no problem with the starting lineup, because I feel like Jesus probably earned that, but he didn't. He wrestled. He's won 4 Premier Leagues. He doesn't care for me. He doesn't care enough. He's accepted over 200k a week. For how long? Yes, ACLs. And we've stuck by him. But now, I'm sorry, you have to deliver. The same way you don't give Havertz time, the same way you don't give Gyökeres time, the same way everyone slated Moreno up front. Give this guy the same energy, because it's not fair. He's been on this way, sat around for a long time. And if you're fit and your job is to strike, is to be a striker, not just obviously you're not just to put the ball in the back of the next striker. You like your interplay. I see none of that yesterday. So I need more people to call out that, because you're calling out all our other strikers. We have talked about the Odegaard stepping down and Rice captain. We'll bring it back up, but it is that it's, when it gets past that 20 minutes, we might score, and we have been doing that lately, which makes the game a lot more comfortable. But it's after that goal, what are we doing? And where's your leader? Screaming at people, get back, or look, where are you? I need to find you. And it's not happening. I just really do believe we need to implore Declan Rice as the captain. He's very physical. I just hope, like, if it happens, he doesn't get injured, because because he's done a lot of work this season. He's done so much work. My final thoughts are just, Arsenal have all the talent, all the mandem, they have a lot going on. They just need a proper leader now to get us over the line. Declan Rice has already done it with West Ham. I know it's the Confederates Cup, whatever you want to call it, but he's done it before with a West Ham side. Imagine what he could do with an Arsenal side. He's already proven people wrong, saying, "Oh, he's not as good as that. He's not as good as this one. He's not as good as that one." He's been better than all of them. Had a poor couple of games, right? But I think as a whole, you can only play as well as your whole team. Yes, you can shine from time to time, but you can only play as well as your whole team. And like, overall, that spine, Saliba needs to ask questions. We need to ask questions to Saliba. He was poor, really poor at the back. A lot of mistakes. Gabriel for me was fine. He was standard, solid performance. Then we move up to Zubimendi, misplaced passes, lost his head, and he needed the captain to get on his shoulder. And yeah, he's done it a couple of times and he needs to wake up. And then you move up to Odegaard, same thing, ghosting. He lived up to his name. And then you move all the way forward. That whole spine was so weak yesterday. We can look in hindsight and say if Gyökeres starts, we might have had a different game because you've got a more of a physical game. And I'm not saying he scores, but he may have occupied defenders a bit more and space. We can't keep relying on Saka to come up with the goods. All round, Trossard, just cut back. Can't make a 5-yard pass. The man's in front of him, and just because the man's just slightly off behind him, he tries to make that pass, and the guy just sticks his foot across. Like, I get he's trying to make those passes, but you've got to make those passes. Like, it's not like the dink over the top 20-yard or anything like that, putting a man in. It's the simple pass. You're not making it. Maybe the man needs to pull out a little bit more to give you space. Then get on to him and tell him. But I can't see you just hitting it straight at the defender, mate. I can't see it anymore. Yes, Ben White came on, did shore things up at the back a little bit. And Capier is a bit of a Tasmanian devil. Young, fierce, all of that. But I see that like he's more like Gabriel Magalhaes, and Mascara is a lot like Saliba. It's like that same thing we've got coming through again. We can't keep putting it all on Saka to unlock. I know he's our star boy, and I know it's the world class shouts that are coming. He hasn't been up to scratch this season, but the whole Arsenal attack has been poor. Even the attacking midfielders have been poor, and that's where you've got to question it. It's as a whole, and it's so predictable. It's just put it to Saka. Hopefully, he's going to get it in the box, which he did. But it's like, how many times can we keep doing this? We need something off the other side, and we need something through the middle. And I think the key to this all is, for me, those attacking midfielders. The Odegaard situation, we need more from him. And Eze. Let's not forget Eze. Eze has not stepped up at all. He's had a good couple of games, and maybe he's living off the Tottenham game. I don't know. Yes, he scored vital goals, but he's ghosted most games. And I think the pressure on that number 10 weighs heavy. My opinion, it's weighing heavy because it's like, oh, I've got to be better than Odegaard. No, I think if you take the captaincy away, they can just flourish. And I know Eze's not in line to be no captain, but I think if you move that away from that position, then they're just free to play football. I personally feel. And then you have Odegaard hopefully stepping up, and then Eze going, okay, I'm sat on the bench again now. I need to put in a performance. And that's when you might see it a bit more of a relaxed approach. Right now, we're a bit too nervous. We look a bit too nervous on the ball. We look a bit... I think it's lazy to say, a mentality thing. It's always the same thing. It's not so much a mentality thing. It's just we need a leader in those moments. And I don't think we have it in Odegaard. That's my thoughts and opinion. Let me know. The spine was the issue. Declan needs to be captain. Let me know what you think. Would Declan Rice be a better captain than Odegaard? Where do you think we lost the game yesterday? Because for me, it was, like I said, the spine. And I think the weakest point was Jesus. And yeah, let me know your thoughts, feelings, and your opinions in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you on the next video.